So back the next morning for a little quick wrap up here. Fortunately, was working on a video for this yesterday, and my iCloud or whatever filled up, and I couldn't take the video, which is unfortunate because this, unlike the last couple, this has been the easiest. This is again John Penrose Hurley and Francis Ann Thomas Hurley. Mentioned that they originally had 2 quartz head and foot stones, and at a later date someone came and got a pretty neat pulpit that says Hurley on the top. Beautiful blue marbled base, and it's an interesting marble stone where the top, the die has got, mineralization or something that's kind of coming through, so it's got a little bit of texture that's kind of, perhaps the marble has worn away a little bit and that hasn't. Just an interesting marker. But anyways, at some point someone laid that right in the middle between the 2 headstones and added 2 footstones that I still need to set. I think at some point somebody had tinkered with this in the past. I'll try to put a photo at some point on this video, but it was leaning forward pretty heavily and leaning to the right pretty heavily. So now it's sitting pretty nice and square, level. I need to come and add a little bit of dirt on this side. There's a pretty big depression here on Francis's burial, which happened in 1911. Looks like his was 1889, and his is more, a little bit better filled in, but I'll bring a little bit of dirt. I'm not going to fill in the whole thing, but I'll bring a little bit of dirt just to keep the grade even all across the top. I think that kind of contributed to that stone kind of starting to slide this way and lean this way as the kind of ground has eroded out in front of it. Yeah, we'll bring a little bit of dirt, no big deal. But this was the easiest reset of all. I could have gotten probably a 35-minute video if I had all the supplies prepared for it. Yesterday I came in and kind of probed at it a little bit and quickly saw that it had no rock, mortar, concrete mess poured underneath it. I suspect that someone has removed it at some point, and it looks like they added some sort of slag base, gravel base underneath it, and so they may have leveled it to some degree, but just with the lack of dirt in front, I think has just kind of slowly over time eroded. So anyways, we excavated all the dirt that kind of flowed in underneath it and brought it back down to the slag, added some gravels, leveled it, tamped it, and reset that on top of it. So hopefully it's on kind of solid ground, but level ground now. And we just put a little dab of Pratley putty just to give it a little bit of strength. It does have pins, so we set it back in the slot and pin, and then kind of added a little bit of monument compound right on the bottom, as you can see. Right along the bottom. We'll probably come back and kind of give that a good clean up. But I mean, it's pretty neat. Just in case it settles a little bit more. But yeah. So that's get the level before I forget it. That's John Penrose Hurley and Francis Ann Thomas, and that's the last significant problem that's in here. Everything is kind of upstanding and fairly straight. We still want to kind of raise Sally Francis, possibly just kind of straighten out William Thomas. I mean, these just got a slight lean. And then the last one that we'll look at is just James Thomas over there. He's leaning back, and there is no monument compound at all. That top part is loose. It's not too bad, so we will kind of see how it goes, whether we mess with it or not, or kind of just put it on the list for one day when there's nothing to do. But right now we do have another upcoming project, another Revoir era cemetery. So just trying to get this thing kind of wrapped up with all the repairs, so that all there is kind of a little bit of puttering, some of these footstones that need to be reset and stuff, and continued maintenance of this so that this creeper and grass combo can continue to develop. As I mentioned, we'll come back and poison these in the coming weeks, these paradise trees, Allianthus. And that'll be that. I mean, we'll kind of ride into winter and kind of see what comes forth in the spring. This was cleared back in the spring, winter, spring, once, a few years back. It became overgrown again rapidly. It was cleared again this spring, and within 6 weeks it was probably about 4 to 5 feet tall, although this time it was mostly just kind of shrubby brush, like shoots, not really trunks. So that was taken down. I've probably weed whacked or used the weed whacker with the circular saw blade on it, and kind of came through here every 2 to 3 weeks, and now it's kind of stretched closer to 3 to 4 weeks, and it's definitely getting somewhere. So just wanted to put this. I know that I'd actually spoken to a descendant of James Thomas who was interested in John Penrose, and there's a little bit of history here. It appears that he may have been imprisoned by the Confederacy during the Civil War, so we're hoping to figure out a little bit more about him. He was a captain of a boat. So keep in touch, and we'll post more updates as they come.